Good morning, everybody. Hope that you're doing well. It's just before 9 a.m. at the time I'm filming this, and I've had an unusually productive morning. I got up pretty early because Rocky had to go to his job today, his day job. So I got up with him. I did some yoga, ate breakfast, did some leg and feet exercises, did some other things too. So I'm raring to go. I have a very busy day ahead of me, and as per usual, I'm gonna show you all of it. Or at least most of it. Took a shower, hair's all situated, have a little bit of makeup on. I'm actually gonna be filming a self-tape right now. That's one of the busy things that I have to do today. It's not due for a couple of days, but because of the festival, I really wanna get it in before I go, so it's one less thing to worry about. I feel pretty good about it. We'll see how filming goes. Tripod is all set up with my ring light. I'm gonna be sitting against this wall right here. It's nice when you have just one blank wall in your space, and this is actually a pretty good space to film self-tapes or just YouTube videos where I'm just straight up talking to the camera. I've filmed here a bunch, and it's always turned out pretty good, so that is a good thing. Finished up all of my self-tapes for that audition. Very, very happy I got that in. I was stressing about that, but it's all good now. Just had some lunch too, and until I teach my class tonight, I'm just gonna be relaxing. I will work on my act a little bit more and show you that. And I'm also gonna review the course content for the Charleston class I'm teaching tonight. I mentioned that yesterday. If you are in the New York City area and wanna attend, please let me know. I would love to see you there. But for now, that is what I'm gonna do. Just relax for a little bit on my act and review my course content for tonight. Trying on the top for Zooby Zoo now that it's all sewn up. I think it looks okay, even though my sewing job was definitely not the best. Down a little bit. Yeah, it looks good there too. I'm satisfied with it. I hope you are too. I do have my full Zooby Zoo costume on right now, so I'm gonna run it a few times in my apartment all the way through. I'm not gonna film it just because it is gonna be the full act. I don't wanna get copyright struck, all of that stuff, or content struck, whatever that is. But you've seen the act, you know it. There is actually, and I have mentioned this in a few other videos, but there is actually a full version of me doing Zooby Zoo, the full act, on YouTube. It was when I performed at Lucy Button's The Nudie Show. So if you look up like Lucy Button's The Nudie Show, Daisy Delicacy, you'll find it. The thumbnail is me with my fans. So if you want to watch that, go right ahead. But now I gotta rehearse. All done with rehearsing, back in my normal clothes. It went well. I ran the act about three times, and they all were fine. A lot of the teases are feeling good again. It's coming together. I am still a bit nervous, but you know, that's to be expected. One of the things that I realized the more I rehearse this act, the more I do it in my apartment and just kind of analyze it and solidify it, is that there's always something in it that I can improve upon or that I should address. And today it was the very end of the act. I know you've seen me do it in a few other videos, but the part where I do a pivot step and I untie the top and throw it off, I didn't grab the fans correctly each time I was rehearsing, and it was throwing me off. And the thing is, that is the one tease that I do not want to mess up in this number, because it is the very, very final tease. It's what people will remember the most. People remember good starts, people remember good endings. So I need to have a good solid ending for that. And I honestly was getting a little freaked out, like, oh my God, am I gonna be able to fix this? Am I gonna do it? But the other thing that I've learned is you really have to trust yourself when you're doing burlesque. Burlesque is so much about just trusting that things will happen. It's very harrowing to think, if I don't nail this on the beat, if I don't do this tease correctly, if something goes wrong, it's gonna throw off my whole routine. And sometimes that happens, but at the same time, getting into the mindset of, okay, if this goes wrong, I can fix it, it's fine. And moving on from there, I think, is really important. And then again, something I really, really struggle with, because I care so much about my acts being as good as possible. I want them to be just solid and professional and look as polished and clean as I can. But sometimes I gotta accept in the rehearsal process, and even sometimes performing, it's not always gonna be top tier, solid, amazing, wonderful. But that's why we rehearse. Another thing that I realized, my fans were opening and shutting so much. The screws in the fans were very loose, and I was nervous for a second because one of the top parts of the screw, I didn't realize this had fallen off the fan. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to find it. If you've ever dropped a screw anywhere, you know how impossible it is to find it, especially when you absolutely need it. But I did find it, it's fine. So I just got the toolkit and I screwed the fans tighter. Gotta remind myself to add to that list I showed you yesterday to bring a screwdriver. I know it seems kind of ridiculous, but I do need it for this act. The fans need to be screwed not as tightly as possible, but tight enough, because if they're not, my hands get really, really sore. I have to hold them even tighter than I normally do to open and shut them. But if they are screwed on tight, it takes a lot of pressure out of my hands. It's one less thing to worry about, and it will make my act so much better. Side note, having a screwdriver with me kind of makes me feel like Tommy from Rugrats. Anybody? Steve Driver. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. Side note. Going to teach my Charleston dance class now. Exciting. Also, it snowed a little bit today. That makes me really happy. We haven't had too much snow this winter so far, so that's always a nice sight to see. I'm hoping I'm gonna see more in Vermont. I have no doubt I will. Back home again. Class went really well. Rocky was the only one that showed up, but that is okay. I had fun. It was a fun little private Charleston class. Hopefully I'll get more people to come to the next round. My makeup's kind of smudgy, as you can see. I'm really tired, but I'm enjoying some Ollie Pop soda. I think that's how you say it. It's really tasty. And I think this is where I'm gonna end the vlog for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.